This is the Slate Podcast, episode 6, take 1, and Slate.
Hello, and welcome to the Slate Podcast, the podcast where we talk about movies, music, and media. Today we have a brand new episode. I'm Dario. I'm here with Jeff.
Joe.
Yo, what's going on?
What's good, man?
We have a new episode coming out.
Yes, we're finally back. We stopped doing this for like a few months.
It's been a little while.
We just wanted to stop and kind of get a plan ready for 2020. We saved up some money, got some mics because we want the best quality for the show.
We're recording this episode. It's going to be on YouTube, and we're probably going to put a clip on Instagram as well. So we have cameras now. We have audio. We have lights.
That's awesome.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
We're planning to at least do it this year.
Yeah.
And we're trying to roll out about at least 2 episodes a month, right? That's what we said.
We're going to try to keep it consistent this year and just see where it goes. And we're just going to have fun with it. Because that's the point, just to have fun.
So, we're starting this episode right.
Yeah.
And now we have a guest today.
Oh, yeah. So for the first episode that we're back, it's really dope to have not just a guest, but it's my friend here. You might not know him. You might.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah. I guess we're not. But we got the homie JP Rabelo here.
In the house?
With us. Yeah. Yeah.
Literally in the house.
In the house.
JP, how you doing, man?
How you been?
I'm doing well, bro. I'm very happy to be here with you guys.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, man. Like, I know it's a long drive from Kissimmee, or what is it?
Well, I live in Champions Gate now, which is like exit 58 on I-4.
Yikes.
So that's a long
It's a
drive.
good drive.
It's a long drive.
On I-4, right? You have to get on I-4.
Yeah.
So, man, I appreciate it, you taking the time. We're going to focus. It's going to be like a music
music type of
episode.
Yeah, you're right. But you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? What do you do for people who might not know you, who's watching this, listening to this?
So a lot of people don't know me. It's not just people.
They're gonna know you soon.
But man, I hope so. I've pretty much my name is Juan Pablo. I'm known as JP. And obviously my last name is Rabelo. Pretty much I was born in Cuba, so I was born and raised in Cuba. And when I was about 9 years old, my parents moved to Spain. So I grew up in Spain until I was 14. Cool. Yeah. And then out of nowhere, so it was pretty drastic. So out of nowhere, imagine living growing up in Cuba, being raised in Spain, and then out of nowhere, your parents tell you, okay, we're moving next month to Kentucky.
You were 14?
Kentucky, like literally, like I spoke no English, like I knew nothing about the culture, like it was, it was completely different. So I lived there for about 2.5 years, and then eventually moved down to Florida. And I make music, so I make music with my friends, Jeff included. And that's I guess pretty much the essentials about me.
Yeah,
so,
dope. Yeah, we can definitely relate to that story of an immigrant kid coming to this country. We both went through the same thing. Like so,
I moved here when I was 13.
I moved here when I was 10.
So he's from Nicaragua. Where are you from?
Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic. Nice.
Yeah.
What part?
Santo Domingo.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
I lived a little bit like outside the main area, so I might not know exactly like everything, but I grew up there till I was 13, and then I moved to Bradenton, which is like 2 hours from here.
Okay, that's awesome, man.
And now we're trying to get into the entertainment.
It's rough coming into the U.S., man.
It is, man.
Yeah.
I know that feeling of being scared because you don't know the language, and then you also have that pressure of, we're immigrants, so there's like pressure on us to like become something,
Yeah.
And since all 3 of us took the route of doing music or film, like in your case, it's even more pressure because maybe your parents brought you here and they were expecting you to be like a
nurse
teacher or a lawyer. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go make beats.
Yeah. I want to make beats, mom.
So that's funny.
We can definitely relate, to the struggles and.
Yeah, no, especially like I would probably say that the biggest thing for me was I deal a lot I like always struggle my entire life with like being discriminated. you know, when I moved to Spain, like I was a Cuban kid in class. You get what I'm saying? Like I was the one that I was different. Like kids would laugh at me for like. So in Cuba, we eat whatever we can. Like whatever you find, eat it, bro. Like that's how it works, you know. Like bread with like sugar, you know, like whatever you can get your hands on, you eat it. Like you don't discriminate. But you know, getting to Spain, it was sort of like you know, brand new kid in class, like third grade, and I remember my classmates laughing at me because I would just bring a piece of bread with mayo in it, you know, like that would be it. And then like I would bring a water bottle, but it would not be water, it would be like Coke inside, you know, black. And then they will bring like the actual like Coca-Cola bottle with like a sandwich wrapped up in like, you know,
we're fancy.
It's like and like they would laugh at me, I'll be like, okay, I guess. And then moving to Kentucky, like especially like there's barely any like Latinos in Kentucky, so anything you do, you stand out, you know.
Right.
So yeah, I totally relate, you know, with that.
Yeah, man, it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
I like how Florida is so diverse though. Like you meet people from, especially Orlando. This place is literally like a melting pot.
Yeah,
so
it is. I got lucky because I came to Miami when I moved to this country, so you know, all my teachers were Spanish.
No, before I met you, I had literally never met in my life anyone from Nicaragua, like ever. Really? You know,
we are a rare species.
So no, but it's like like Orlando is that place, you know. So I really like it here. Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
I
kind of want to get into the music process, but we have a segment we want to do today. You want to explain?
Yeah. So we're just gonna go around. We can start with you, and then me, and then JP. Pretty much just what you've been listening to lately, you know, music-wise. If you've been reading a book, if you want to share with us.
You want to start listening,
a
watching,
show or a movie that you've seen lately,
and reading.
Yeah.
Well, I just saw that Eminem came out with a
music. The album. Yeah.
The album. When was it? 2 days ago.
That was out of nowhere too.
Was it?
Yeah.
It didn't lead up to anything.
What is it, like 20 tracks?
Music to get murdered by. Yeah.
To make murder by.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I thought it was a single when I first saw it. And then I was like, whoa, like there's.
And he came out with a music video too. Two music videos, I think.
Songs,
Two music videos, I think.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been listening to today and yesterday. So you guys listened to it yet?
I heard it. Yeah.
You heard the whole
thing?
thing?
Pretty wild.
I've been listening to the Mac Miller album.
Mac Miller.
Yeah, I will say this though.
Too,
I will say this. I feel like I was expecting a lot more. The last two songs are amazing. I love them.
Yes.
But I do feel like they just put together a whole bunch of throwaway songs, you know, songs that didn't make it in like other projects.
In what? In the Eminem?
No, in Mac Miller's new
okay.
album. Yeah. So honestly speaking, like for me, his last album is Swimming. Like I'm not taking this one into, you know.
I feel the same way because I heard the album too.
Yeah.
And for
it
some
just sounded
reason,
like a whole bunch of B songs, you know. Like
for some reason, the snare in some of the songs, I thought they were whack.
Yeah.
The snares.
No, there's barely any rapping. Like he's not rapping.
No, it's not. Yeah.
It's like it's one of those like I just feel like he made a whole bunch of songs for all the projects that didn't end up making it, and they just had those songs and they were like, oh, might as well put it in a project together and let it out, you know.
Yeah.
And obviously there's like label involved and all that stuff, so they gotta monetize somehow. But nah, it was still really dope though. I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, same. I listened to the Eminem album, and I also listened to the Mac Miller album.
Yeah.
And
Is that what you listen to?
That's pretty much the last 2 days. That's what I've been listening to. I've also been listening to this one artist. I wish I remember the name, man. It's like an indie artist. He makes like indie rock type music. He's pretty dope.
Okay.
And yeah.
When it comes to movies, I haven't been watching movies lately, but I have a lot of friends from Spain, a whole lot of friends. Like you know, I still communicate with them, and I've been hearing a lot about a show called La Casa de Papel.
La Casa de Papel.
Yeah,
I've heard of.
Yeah,
is that
it's on Netflix.
Spanish song?
Yeah, it's a Spanish show. So I've been hearing a whole lot about it. But honestly speaking, like I never checked it out. I was like, I don't have time for it. You know, episodes are like 40, 50 minutes. And I gave it a shot last Saturday. So I started watching it last Saturday. And I'm almost done with the 3 seasons already. Like, I've just been, like, watching it back to back. So, yeah, you guys should definitely check it out. It's pretty dope. Yeah.
For sure.
So, I've been wanting to check out The Witcher on Netflix. Have you heard of that?
Witcher, yeah.
Yeah. I know George watched that.
Have you played the game?
No. Is it a game or is it a book?
It's a book and it's a game.
Oh.
And it's
yeah, I know it was a
TV
book.
show.
I didn't know it was a game.
Yeah. The game is pretty good. Honestly.
I hear the show is really good.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of it?
I seen when George has been watching.
I saw 2 episodes. Not gonna lie, like I think it's a good show.
Yeah.
It's just not my cup of
Right.
tea, you know. So, yeah. I haven't. But it's the same guy that does like the Superman movies.
Yeah.
Superman, yeah.
Yeah. The same guy.
He's a good actor. Yeah.
What about you? What are you watching?
I started watching that. I don't know if you've seen it.
The Office. The 8th time.
It's
24/7. Yeah.
But the show.
Is it off Netflix yet? I'm sorry.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. So it's still on Netflix, right?
I'm.
They said that they were taking it off, but it's still
coming
on
off.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. Yeah.
I think they should put a date on it so we know.
Yeah.
I don't want it to just go
so we
in
can
there.
mentally prepare. Yeah.
Yeah. It's called Dracula on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
Like,
No.
it's really interesting. Like, it's 3 episodes, and they're all like an hour and a half. And I went through the first one, and it's really good.
I think it's interesting that all the shows that we said are on Netflix.
Yeah.
Like Netflix is just like, who watches TV anymore? Like,
Well,
what?
I will say those. I will say this though. I haven't been on Netflix as much lately.
Really?
Ever since Disney Plus dropped.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I watched The Mandalorian.
Yes.
Right
Oh,
away,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian.
Yeah, and then I've been like watching The Simpsons too on Disney
Yeah.
Plus.
Oh, I
so-
wanted to check it out.
Yeah.
I haven't seen The Simpsons.
Yeah, I'm like watching the
forever.
whole thing chronologically.
From the
like,
beginning?
for the first time. Yeah.
For the first time.
Yeah, which is so cool because you can see like the first few episodes, the animation is a
was
little
whack.
bit different. Yeah.
A long
yeah.
time ago.
It's not as great as we remember
Yeah.
it. You know?
Yeah. But hey, it's
But-
been going on for a long time.
It has.
Yeah.
It's funny still. So
I also I started. This was out of nowhere too. Rick and Morty season 4 came out,
Oh really?
and I've never been into it. Like, I know about it, but then I just watched
It's
the
on
whole
Hulu,
season
right?
4. Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched the whole season 4. I thought it was funny, so
Yeah.
I started from season 1, and
very popular
it's
show.
a really weird show. But
So you watched the 4th season?
I watched the 4th
without
season,
seeing any of the
Yeah.
3, and then
I
started
went to
on-
season 1. Yeah,
That's a weird way to watch.
I
show,
know
man.
it's a weird show, but it's funny. It has its funny
Yeah,
moments.
I've seen like one like probably like 2 seasons, up to 2 seasons. But
Yeah.
I haven't like kept up with it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any of it.
It's pretty fun.
It's cool. Yeah, it's funny. And
What are you reading? That's the last thing. Anything you're reading lately?
Reading. I don't read, bro.
You don't read?
I read articles.
Yeah.
Artists.
Yeah. Well, that's good. What?
Yeah.
What?
I don't read books, so I'm honestly like I
don't read
tried
books,
like I tried that whole like reading book thing.
Yeah.
Like it was just never. I'm more of a visual person,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Like if I can watch like a show or like watch like something else, like I don't know, that's just better for me. Like I'm, you know, especially like in high school or middle school, you would always be told that, you know,
Yeah.
people
reading is
read.
good.
I think it's really not true. Like I consider Jeff a really smart guy. It's just, you know, like maybe he doesn't know a lot about biology, but this guy can sit behind a computer and mix like
Right.
a beast, you know? And it's just like, you know, finding and reading has never been it for me. So I decided that I'm gonna stop lying.
Yeah,
lying, you know, and pretending like I actually do read. No, I don't. Like
don't read?
I just read articles. That's about it. You know.
That's fine. I mean, reading is like if you want a larger story, like movies and TV show. TV show is probably the one thing that can like be similar to books because you get a long stretch of story with the story. With the book, it's like so long. That's why every time a book is made into a movie, fans always complain because you can never put everything in a book in a movie.
right,
It's too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
And that's what you get with books. I don't read
Yeah.
that often. I read like every once in a while.
yeah,
Which I'm reading this book called The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek. It's by YouTubers. 2 YouTubers, Red and Link, wrote it. It's like a young adult book about a town that weird things are happening in. I feel like it could become a movie someday.
Nice.
So I just wait on that. But right now it's just a book. I'm almost done with it. Can't
Have
wait.
you guys ever seen the TV show The Boys on Amazon Prime?
No, but I know.
Oh
but-
my lord! Whoever hasn't seen the TV show The Boys,
You seen it, right? You seen it?
please watch it. It's literally like, it's like my favorite TV show of all time.
man.
Because it's like if superheroes were real, it would probably
Right.
be like that. You know, like
Gotta
they're
check it
literally corrupted superheroes.
Oh, I heard
So
about
they
it.
took all of
Yeah.
the DC characters. It was
Yeah.
actually a comic book that was actually pitched to DC, and it didn't make it because DC thought that it was too edgy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So another like independent, you know, comic book, pretty much label sort of took it, and it was only like a few years ago, and then eventually like Amazon Prime made it into a TV show. But it is amazing.
It's
like,
very interesting. It's like the superheroes are actually bad guys, right?
Yeah,
like,
they're the bad guys, and then
To the public.
the good guys are still not good guys. Like
Right.
they're still bad people, but like it's like the superheroes are like undefeatable, and these people are just normal people, you know, and like it's so unbalanced, you
It's
know.
very
And it's
interesting.
amazing. It's like the writing, the way they did it, like, and for a TV show, like you know how CGI is always a little bit
Yeah, it's a
shaky
little
for
bit
TV
weird,
shows.
yeah.
It's amazing. It's pretty good for a TV show.
I'm gonna
so.
definitely check it out.
Nice.
Yeah.
I heard about
Yeah.
it. I saw the trailer.
And I will say this: I have Amazon Prime, but for those who don't, you can actually get a 30-day trial. So just watch it in 30 days. You know?
Gotcha.
So
Yeah,
yeah, it's only like 8
Amazon,
episodes.
if you want to sponsor us, please.
we're down. Are you reading anything?
As you know,
yeah.
like he said, I can't read unless it's something that I have interest on.
Yeah.
Like,
It takes commitment to
Yes.
read a book. Like you have to make it
Like,
through.
you know, I try to get the daily, at least one verse or two from the Bible or
He
something
reads
like
IG captions.
that.
He's so sorry. You know you want to be
Anyway.
mad, so you're like
Every post is
anyway.
a chapter for him, you know.
No, listen.
So yeah, what are you reading?
I'm
though?
not much of a good reader, like you know.
Yeah.
Like, but audiobooks. I have gone through books with audiobooks. Right now, I'm actually going through the Harry Potter
Yes,
book series.
sir.
He got me
Very
into it. Like, we
good.
watched all the
Nice.
movies.
I'm a super fan of Harry
Yeah,
Potter.
This guy, you can't beat him in a Harry Potter trivia.
Trivia.
I know they
I know.
do I apparently like they kept the whole like story going, like you know, sort of like fans like wrote like there's like a whole forum, you know, where people just like
Oh yeah.
Like
you know.
fan fiction, you mean?
yeah.
Oh yeah. there's a
So
lot of
I know that it has like different endings, and apparently I heard it on my job not too long ago. They're gonna make a new movie. I don't know.
a
Apparently.
new movie of
Yeah.
Harry Potter,
Yeah,
or
new Harry Potter. Yeah.
in the Harry Potter universe.
No, like a new Harry Potter movie.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That'd be
That's what I heard. I don't know.
I don't think that would happen though. Without the books, I don't think fans, like the core fans, would like. They're like, it was perfect. Or it wasn't perfect, but it was good. I don't think anybody wants to revisit it. I mean, they're doing the Fantastic Beasts now,
yeah.
which is as close as we're gonna get to it, at least for a while, I think.
Some things, and you know, Iron Man said it best in the end game. A part of the story is a part of the journey is the end.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
some things are like
Not meant to like.
just finish it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but.
But what do you think of the books?
I
so
love
far?
them, man. When I get through all the books, we're actually gonna do a podcast.
And you're on the fourth one now?
I'm in the 4th book right now.
So they're
Yeah.
just waiting on you.
Yeah, pretty much. Because we did a podcast when we watched all the movies.
Yeah.
Which I did for the first time
Yeah.
too.
Well, George hasn't read them either. He just watched the movies.
Yeah. But the books, I hate that I've been missing out, like, you know, all these years.
I told you for a while, bro. You need
But,
to get into Harry Potter.
but
And
yeah,
you finally did.
I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it, and I just can't wait to finish.
Right.
Like, it's a fun journey. Like,
Yeah.
you definitely get a lot more. Like, one thing I'm doing too is after I read the book, I go back to watch the movie again, and you feel like the movie is just rushed because there's so much that it's missing from the books.
I've only seen like the first 3 movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of like big action, a lot of BFX kind of movies?
I'm a fan of like good stories. So
Okay.
It
as
is
long
good
as
stories.
it's
It is.
It's a good story,
and
man.
like I tried watching it a few years back. You know, maybe I should redo it again.
It's dope.
Esto no hay nada nuevo. Dime si tú quieres y yo me elevo. Veterano en esto no hay nada nuevo. Ya, ¿quién eres tú pa' frontearme? Yo soy un peso completo. Tú lo haces pa' los likes, yo lo hago pa' respeto. Ya, tú no me dura ni un round, más te vale quedarte quieto. Esto se trata de rimar.
So yeah, let's get into the music talk. This is what this episode is about.
Yeah, so
Sounds good.
for I guess a little context, I moved to Orlando about 2 years ago, and right before I moved, I remember I was going through Instagram, and my friend back home, shout out to my boy David Maldonado. That's my homie. I knew that he was in a band, and it was a worship band, and so through the band, through him, that's how I met JP actually. So I remember this was like almost before I moved. I went to the Instagram page of your band, and I remember like hitting you, DMing you. I don't know if you remember this. I was like, "Yo, I'll mix your songs for free or something." Like I was trying to hustle.
Yeah.
You feel me?
The connection.
And we just ended up talking like through Instagram, and he started telling me like about this project. I think
it was right about the time that the band like finished.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, you were telling me about that and how you had plans for like an EP or something.
Yeah,
and then like we pretty much planned like as soon as I moved, let's get to work, like, and man, I'm glad that
as soon as you moved here.
The what?
As soon as you moved here.
Well, not as soon, but
right. At least you have a timestamp of like when you guys started working together.
Yeah. So I moved. We already had contact. We've been talking, and then it was like maybe a few weeks later we met at a coffee shop, and that's when you started showing me like all the demos.
yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
You started showing me all the demos for like the Cuban roast.
Yeah.
You showed me like hoodies and
yeah, I had a few stuff like that I had already been working on.
And like just like that, we started. That's a good example of what can happen if you network and you build these organic relationships, bro. And it's like, now look at us now.
Yeah,
we've done a few projects. We're out here.
Yeah,
doing
we've
a
literally
podcast.
everything that I've released, you've had a hand in it.
Yeah, man. And
dope.
It's been a great time. I don't know.
For those who do not know, I make all of my music with Jeff. Literally, there's been a few, but still, like even the ones, like for example, like my last project, it's called Palma al Amor. Like I was like planning on pretty much producing the whole thing myself, but I always come to Jeff,
And what is it like, about Jeff that pulled you in, like from the first time you guys met and now you're working together? Yeah.
Nah, bro. I feel like he's just a really talented guy, and like I always tell him like he's way too talented, and we just get along really well. And honestly, like it's just about like just finding good people, and there's a lot. Not gonna lie, man. There's a lot of sketchy ass people out there, And then when you do find those good ones, it's just about like
stick with it.
Yeah.
So. One thing they told us when I went to audio school at first this was like the first week. They told us you can be the most talented, you can play all the instruments, you can be so good at what you do, but if you don't have kindness, you'll never be able to like work with people.
Yeah.
Everybody that I work with, like you guys, it's because, there's kindness. You feel me? Like you're a kind person. You guys are kind people. So I think that's
definitely know what
another thing that's we've been working for so long now.
Yeah.
There's that, it's
you have to have the
humble.
personality.
And it's one of those things like I've always told like my homies and like everyone that I interact with. When I die, I don't want people at my funeral talking about me saying, "Oh, JP had a $2,000 guitar," or JP had these many songs, like that. Which I don't. I don't have a $2,000 guitar. but ultimately, like I want people talking. I want people saying, JP was a kind, loving, generous, person, and I feel like it goes beyond music, man. I've, to sort of, I don't know if I'm getting a little bit ahead. We're gonna talk about that in a minute, but I've gotten a few offers, when it comes to like, the music industry, and all of those have, in a way, tied me down when it comes to like my creative, thought process and stuff like that. And like the reason why I haven't like committed to anything is because in 40 years, when I look back, this music thing is really short. Like, once you hit 30-ish, like, man, like if you didn't make it, like, like
really?
Stop doing something else. Yeah.
Really? 30?
Yeah. It's I feel like not so much 30, but
I kind of disagree with that.
Why?
Well, in film it's kind of different. You see people making it in like the film industry in the 40s, 50s.
But as an artist, I'm saying as an artist, if you haven't made it when, I mean, there's a few exceptions. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like whatever I cannot do now, like I don't think I'm gonna be able to do in 10 years. You get what I'm saying? Like eventually, like, you know, commitments start to add up and all of that good stuff. Right. But you know, in 40 years, 40, 50 years, when I look back, if I'm still alive, you know, when I look back to my music, I don't wanna remember, hey, I made that because someone had me made it, you know, had me make it, or someone wanted me to make it. I want to look back at my music and be like, you know, I'm proud of what I made. Right. Like, you know, that's something that I wanted to make in the moment, and like I did it. So yeah, I just feel like I don't know how we got to this point, but we were talking about
just constant consistency.
Oh yeah, and ultimately, so to sort of give more context to the whole Jeff story, so yeah, so Jeff. So I was in a band, you know, and it was weird because my whole life I grew up in church, you know, and my parents always you know, it's like my parents are pastors, and of course I was always like in that environment, you know. So naturally, like, you know, when I started making music, it was you know, Christian music per se, Christian music, you know, it was.
Well, it was quite Christian music.
It was more like alternative, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was like a, you know, so we had like sort of like an alternative, you know, gospel focused band per se, and yeah, so Jeff hit us up like right at the beginning when like we started like splitting up, so and we split up for multiple reasons. But ultimately, the main reason was that we just had different like visions. You know, everyone wanted something different, and like ultimately, like, you know, like I was also like, of course, like when you're in a Christian band per se, like your faith is a huge part of it. You know, and the moment that your faith like starts to fade away, you know, and it just got to the point where like nowadays I consider myself I'm not a Christian. You know, that's not my belief. That's not what I believe in, but I still got a lot of homies to do. You know, Jeff is one great example of it. And you know, it's just like, I guess, like, you know, it doesn't have to affect our friendship, but it's one of those things where like we started like fading away, and then all of the music that I was making was pretty much with these people, you know, and now I was by myself, and I was like, okay, I gotta find, you know, what it is that I'm going to do, like pretty much what it is that I'm going, like what genre, like what type. You know, we were making music in Spanish. Like I started making music in, you know, English ultimately, but I was like, I gotta find what it is that I'm gonna do. So I made tons of, you know, songs that never made it anywhere, but those were like trials. You know, I want to experiment. You know, and that's around the time that Jeff came along.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, it was like perfect.
And you know, props to you guys too. Because the music that you guys were making too at that time, it was good. Like I had the CD, the last CD with the Red Cross. I had it and I enjoyed it, and I know a lot of people in my church back home that enjoyed it too. So
yeah, no, my parents still have it, and but I mean, it is what it is, and eventually there was a lot of politics like involved in it as well. Like we were tied down to like a contract and like all of that good stuff. So.
Lost without a cause, so tell me, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go?
Alright, so let's go back to the beginning. I want you to tell me and, you know, all of us, how did this all begin? Like, when and why and how?
Back in Spain, when you got here.
When did that thing hit that you were like, yo, I want to do this? Like,
all right, so I was a sperm, and I'm just kidding.
Go forward.
Backed up a little too much.
So I actually have videos of me playing drums back in church when I was like 4 or 5 years old. So yeah, so I was always around music. However, my dad was huge in baseball, and like I actually like that's what I wanted to do, baseball, you know. However, I always carried music on the side, you know, like I would do both, you know. Obviously, baseball was my, you know, main focus, but then I would always like, you know, work on music, like learn how to play an instrument, you know, like it went simultaneously, like with baseball. So senior year of high school, baseball was out the window because I got hurt and all of that stuff, and that's a whole different conversation. But it was actually, you know, per se, like pretty good, the fact that I had music to fall back on, you know. So that's eventually what I went to college for. I went to college for music production, and
Where did you go?
I
What
went to
college?
Daytona State. Yeah,
Okay.
and I now work at Full Sail. So,
That's awesome.
but
Were you in Spain when that happened, or were you in Florida?
no, I was in Florida. It was senior year of high school. Like I was
Okay,
here
okay.
already. Yeah.
Right.
So before then, of course, I was making music and stuff like that. So that was, you know, whenever the whole baseball thing like fell off, that's when I started the band. You know, it's just like, you know, might as well.
Right.
But long story short, yeah, it was, yeah, music has always been there, you know, and yeah, it's a part of me. You know, like everyone that knows me, like even from the baseball days, knows that I'm huge into music. So that's
Right.
It's good, man.
Now, do you remember, like, I guess that specific moment where it clicked? Like, I can tell you for me, when I wanted to get into music production was literally when I finished listening to that Heroes for Sale album.
By Andy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like in my room by myself, and I was just so curious, and that's the whole YouTube searching how to do this and do that, how to make beats. But it was sparked by that moment, like,
Yeah.
whoa, how I want to learn, I'm curious. Like, do you remember the specific moment? Like, was it a song?
Honestly, there's
A
not a
movie?
specific moment for me. It was honestly always there, and then also wanted, like, I will say this though, I found myself, like, you know, I was hurt, I couldn't play baseball. It was therapy from therapy, so it became not fun anymore. And what was fun for me was music. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like baseball used to be extremely fun. I loved it. You know, like I loved working out and just training. However, when I wasn't able to do that, I guess my escapes, you know, zone per se, began to be music. So that was a huge thing. That was literally a huge like shift. You know, I don't think any of my songs would exist if I would have never got hurt. You know, so that is a good way to look. Also, you know, going back to the whole like immigrant thing that we were talking about at the beginning, that is a huge, like, I always think about my catalog. You know, my music, this way. I always think about it this way. I really appreciate. I feel like me like tapping the table so much. If Much Dank would get his hands on this, he would like add sound effects to like me tapping the table. but I always think, you know, and I really want to like let this out there because this is like a huge part of my thought process, and we actually started the podcast with this. I always think I put a lot of pressure on myself, you know, and that is because I really want to make my parents' sacrifice pay off. You get what I'm saying? Like, dude, we went through multiple countries. Like we went through Germany, then Canada, and then like ended up in Kansas. Like it was a long journey, and then coming out of Cuba and like my mom, you know, pretty much going away from like her family and all that stuff. And I feel like if I don't do anything like with my life, you know, like I feel like I'm not making that, you know, like I'm not doing justice to that.
Right.
On top of that, I have cousins my age in Cuba who are, you know, only made it to 10th grade, and like they're literally like making $10 a month right now, like, you know, and they have horrible jobs, like no future, like, you know, and that I view it in a way where like I want to help them, and at the same time like I want to better myself, you know, like I want to, like, it would be such a waste of, you know, everything if I didn't make this like worth, you know.
So that's a lot of pressure you're putting on yourself.
See, that's the thing that we were saying though.
It's a good
the
thing,
pressure
though.
of being an immigrant. You know.
Yeah, and it's also like, so I'm gonna give you guys a quick example. I actually bought a gold chain not too long ago, and I've just always wanted one. No, I saved up some money. I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy one. You know, it's like I buy things for myself. You know, like just things that I like. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
like I could buy a designer pair of shoes that no one knows what they are, but if I like it, like, and like I feel good, and like, you know, like I do it for myself. You know, however, I've returned it like a week after. Because I just couldn't go to sleep. I felt extremely bad. I have my grandparents in Cuba right now. I have all of my family in Cuba, and you know, especially my grandparents. Like, my grandpa is extremely like like old. He's not that old. My grandparents are not that old, but they have no AC, like no washing or dry machine, like and it's like dude, like especially like I have my great grandma still alive. And she has no AC where she lives. Like it's like and it's one of those things. Like, am I really gonna buy a gold chain?
Yeah, you felt the guilt.
Yeah, I felt extreme. Man, I felt horrible.
Right.
And right away I returned it, and like with the money I bought my grandma an AC. And like I also bought my grandma a fridge. I try to take care of my family in Cuba, but it's one of those things. Like as an immigrant, you always have that. Like you just can't, like I don't think I would ever be able. And like I guess morally speaking, there's nothing wrong with it. I work hard for that. That is my money. Like that everyone is allowed to spend their money. Like that whole thing. Like, oh, how are you gonna have a gold a Rolex, but then there's people starving in Africa. But it's like, dude, it's your money. Like you worked hard for that. Like you can still help out. You know what I'm saying? Like there's still time for that.
You could do some stuff for yourself too.
But yeah, it's pretty interesting how the thought process of, I guess, an immigrant person, like normal, especially not so much because I know people who have come to the U.S. from Spain. Spain is fine, but especially being an immigrant from a third world country, like that makes a huge difference on your personality and the way you view things, so.
Yeah, man, I totally relate to you.
I
completely relate to that.
And like, I guess to add on that, because this is a pretty big weekend, I'm actually in the works of getting my first apartment.
Nice.
I'm actually getting an apartment by myself, like a 1-bedroom apartment now, like in downtown Orlando.
Sweet.
And I'm actually in the works of that. I think the lease is set for the 25th. And like I view myself and I'm like, wow, like I'm so blessed,
Yeah.
Some people would see that as, oh yeah, like normal, average, like moving out. But then I view myself as, I have cousins in Cuba who barely have a bicycle, literally.
Yeah.
And I have a car, I have a, good car. Like I'm going to be living, by myself. I have a good stable job. I can do what I love. I have the technology to do what I love. Man. Like, and it's like, dude, like I'm, I guess, like I never want to forget, I never want to forget where I came from, because that keeps you
grounded.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a great thing, especially like the fact that we're all immigrant, like that makes it even better. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, in it.
Definitely.
Can I ask you real quick, how old are you?
I'm actually turning 22 in a couple of weeks.
You're turning 22?
Yeah.
Wow, you're young.
Yeah.
You're young.
Yeah. No, and like I guess to go in depth into I guess give a little bit of context briefly to why why I started making music in Spanish ultimately. I went to Cuba last year, exactly December, not this past year, 2018. So about a year and a month ago, and I would show my music to my family in English, and they could not understand what I was saying.
Showing that hoodies.
Yeah, so I came back and I was like, yo, I gotta make music that they can. I actually got my dad has friends who like own a radio station in Cuba, and they were like, oh, send me some of your stuff, and I was like, oh, I can't send it because it's a different language. Yeah. So that also influenced me into.
I can relate to that. Making films. My mom always tells me, like, you're making a film in English, can you make it in Spanish so your family can watch it? At least put subtitles. I'm like, I guess I'm going to have to do that.
Yeah, eventually.
Put subtitles, yeah.
Now, that's dope. You have an advantage over so many artists. You can make music in Spanish and English or in Spanglish, which, that's...
I don't think it's an advantage, but it's a variable, so.
Yeah.
I also want to add to that, to finish that thought about, the like both languages. I honestly, at first, I thought that I was going to continue making music in English, but then, like, the Spanish one has done so good.
It has.
And, like,
to go with what works, right?
Yeah, and not so much that, but it's like, it's like my family can finally, like, hear my music, Yeah. And it's just dope. Like, I feel like, the Spanish one, especially for me, it's a little bit different, creative processing, everything. But it's also really hard to brand myself. Because the people who listen to my English music, when I come out with a Spanish music, as a Spanish song, like they're not gonna like check it out. Right. You get what I'm saying? And whoever, like whatever fan base I have already created for my Spanish music, whenever I come out with English music, like they're not gonna check that out. You get what I'm saying? So, as of right now, I'm still in the works of selecting one and like going for. I think from now on, like I'm just gonna stick to Spanish music. But it's been really hard because literally a year ago I was still making, like less than a year ago, because Escape came out like at the end of January. So less than a year ago I was still making like music in English, and like out of nowhere, like to such a drastic turn. So that's pretty hard though. Yeah,
it is. I can see the struggles in that. One thing I wanted to know too, I probably know the answer because we've been in this new project that we're going to talk about. We've been doing some really dope sampling stuff.
Yeah.
But
I feel like my voice just cracked. Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us, man, like, who are your like musical influences? Like, who do you like always have on? I guess
have you ever heard Jeff Leva music? Do you know who that guy is?
That
let me
guy.
think.
Who's that? Who's that?
Lo-fi beats to study to.
Next up, coming soon.
Who are my influences?
Yeah.
That's a really good question. Honestly, it really depends. I always listen to different people, and I think that also influences the music that I make. When I'm honestly like the weirdest person in like this, because a lot of people when they're making music, they get tired of their music. You can ask anyone that I know, anyone that like has ever gotten in a car with me. I never get tired of my music. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'll be listening to a song from the moment it's like starting to get created forever. Like it's literally gonna be my playlist for. So when I'm making music and when I'm working on an album, I really don't listen to a lot of music. Like, I'm constantly just listening to my own stuff. Like, literally, like on my way here, I was literally listening to whatever I'm working on right now, and so there's not a lot of room for me to, I guess, but some of my favorite artists, I gotta start off with Oriches. You guys might not know who Oriches is. Oriches is actually in the soundtrack for Bad Boys 2, which,
Really?
Yeah. But Oriches is a Cuban band. It's a rap group per se. And they're like pioneers in like Latin rap, and they're amazing. And I feel like I'll make it whenever I get them to reply to one of my emails. But I would love to collaborate with them. They're extremely dope, and they have a huge influence over me. I also like Calle 13. Calle 13 and Residente, really dope.
That's like the Spanish Eminem, I think.
Nah,
Like,
because
for
Eminem is like
delivering
straight
bars?
up hip hop,
No, that's why I said
Calle
the
13 was
Spanish.
more like alternative music, It's like I guess genre wise, like Eminem is like throw him on a boom bap like beat and just like let him rip it apart. Like Calle 13 is more alternative. They do more than just like rap. So, they split it up, so they no longer I don't know. There's a few other people that I listen to. That really just depends. Like, one month I'll be listening to someone, and then the next month, like, and it's one of those things. Like, whoever I listened to 2 years ago, I don't think I could listen to them now. It's like I still appreciate the music, but it's like I guess we all change as humans, And music is also like, when I was making music in English, I would listen to music in English all the time. But now that I'm making music in Spanish, like I'm that's pretty much what's on my playlist.
Yeah, man, you've put me on to some good music, man. Like, to this day, I listen to King's Kaleidoscope.
Oh, they're
because
dope.
of you, man.
Yeah,
like,
they're dope.
You put me onto them. It's really
King's
dope,
K is
really
fire.
dope.
Yeah. I still listen to them. There's a few people that like ever since I'm not a Christian anymore, like I don't listen to them because I just don't resonate with their music. However, there's a few people who, even though I'm not a Christian anymore, I still check out everything they come out with. Andy being one of those. King's K is fire too. There's a few people that I like, but
dope. All right, so I want to try to transition into so every artist, I'm sure, has a different way to approaching writing, recording, producing. Walk me through like kind of your process when you have an idea, or you're in the studio and you're about to create something fresh, something new. Okay, kind of like walk me through the process. Like, how does it start? Is it a thought that you had and you recorded a voice memo, or like did you write first?
I record those all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone does.
Yeah.
Though. Everyone that makes music has their phone full of like ideas. That's a great question. What is my process like? So I am a very like visual person. So I normally know, and Jeff is a witness to this. I normally know how a song is going to sound before it's like made. Like I have a clear picture and then I work towards that. It's not, I know a lot of people who are extremely good at what they do, but they sort of like, they start pulling up samples, like,
Splice.
Yeah. They start pulling up like ideas and they sort of go with it, without having a clear direction. And that is an amazing way to like let your creative, your creativity ultimately like take over. But I'm not the same way. Like I have to have a clear picture. Like I have to have a theme. You know how Kanye, every album that he dropped, it's like a different theme. Yeah, it's like a different phase, Man. You can go back to like Life of Pablo. I remember like the vibe, like the, the merch behind, like everything is like a different, That is the way that I sort of am. I'm not comparing myself to Kanye by any means, but honestly, it's the way that it sort of works is I have an idea and I start elaborating on that idea. And then I sit down on the computer and I tried making a demo of that. And then I throw it in my phone. And I drive a lot. So I would go to college 2 hours away. So, 2 hours there and 2 hours back, literally. Now I work an hour and 15 minutes away from my house, which is the reason why I'm trying to move closer. But since I drive a lot, me having that memo on my phone, like I literally play it over and over, and I'm constantly listening to my music in the car, just coming up with ideas. Like the whole Miyoli song, I don't know who has heard Miyoli that's watching this, but the whole like Miyoli song, which is like the first track of my last EP, that was all literally just me thinking about ideas in the car. I came up with the concept because I get tired of music I get tired of genres very like I can go back to 2019, so many songs that sound exactly the same, like same sort of melody, same sort of like formula. Samples, literally. So I like to think outside of the box. Like there's so many people out there doing what I do, like how am I gonna stand out, So it starts with an idea and then I throw that in, into a demo, whatever you want to call it, and then I listen to it constantly and sort of elaborate on that. So Miyoli was made from scratch, like me driving in my car and recording demos, playing back the instrumental that I made, and then like the lyrics, like I drive a lot, so I can't like text, but I'll like, click the record button and like, yell it into the phone and like then go back to it. So it's sort of like I don't just sit down and make it in one day. It's like, like
a working process. Do you wait for like an idea to hit you, or sometimes do you sit down and be like,
I do. Those make people, a song now? And no, I do. I wait for ideas to come to mind. However, it's actually like that is a great question because I personally, when we made Cuban Roast 1, I had a lot of like I had a lot of music, like made. And then like a lot of things that I was working towards, and a lot of per se ideas and everything that I had made up to that moment, like I flushed it, everything was out. Like I was done. Like I did not have a single song idea on my hard drive, period, like it was out. So it was me starting from, scratch, clean slate. So I was freaking out. I was like, whoa, like, now, like, am I, is my next stuff gonna be as good as this? Like, like, what if it's trash? Like, I know so many people they're first, and like something that I try to do. A lot of artists, like, they come up with something and it's successful, so they try to replicate it like over and over. And like, a song was a hit, and then and I can name you so many people who do this. I'm not gonna do so.
Do it.
I'll get roasted. But no, a great example of it, and like, I guess. I'm not saying that this is right or wrong, but for example, Brian Myers, I don't know if you guys have heard Brian Myers. Yep. He came out with this song Ganga, and then like everyone remixed that song. And that song, like, Anuel remixed it and like it went huge. The song was crazy. Like it was It was a huge hit. And out of nowhere, the next song that he drops is the same sort of exact like flow, like beat, and he's just trying to make that doesn't work for me, you know. And I think that's Brian Myers is a great artist, you know, and he's obviously extremely successful, but that's just not how it works for me. Right. Like I make something, then I move on. You get what I'm saying? Like this was great. Like,
and I guess intentions matter. Like you can see through that. Like you know what he was doing. He was just trying to make the same thing. So he's successful.
Because at the end of the day, he has to put food in his table. Like he has a family to feed, and he has a label behind him. This made money. Why we not make more money? You know, it's like that makes. I guess when you think about it, like with his shoes, like it makes sense.
Right.
But thinking about me, I got nothing to lose. Like I honestly, if my song flops, what did I lose? Like I make it. So you know what I'm saying? Like I have nothing to lose. So that is sort of how my thought process goes.
So you're an artist, and you know that social media.
I don't know if I am.
Let me tell you what you are.
I don't know what I am, bro.
An independent artist, and you know that social media plays a big role, like in the way music is like rolled out, and like the way music is promoted, and it's big. It's a big deal. And something really interesting happened to you a few weeks ago, was it?
Yeah.
Regarding one of these social medias. So just run us through that real quick, because I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's sort of in a small scale what happened to Lil Yachty.
Yeah.
So Lil Yachty, like a YouTuber, like played one of his songs and like he blew up after that. But same thing happened to me. I really couldn't per se. I couldn't build on that because what happened was the very first song that I made. It's an amazing song. I love it. It's awesome. Someone on TikTok.
By the way, I love that song too.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Yeah, it's really
It's called Where Do We Go From Here? It's actually produced by Jeff.
Yeah,
I made that beat at Starbucks. I was feeling really depressed.
Yeah. And it's like featuring my boy Juan.
Shout out to Juan.
Yep.
Pretty much, someone on TikTok. I still to this day do not know what the whole like story behind it is, but this pretty big like TikTok person like shouted out the song or like posted it or like something with the song, and out of nowhere, like I see a lot of traffic on my YouTube, and my Spotify numbers and Apple Music numbers start to go up, and I'm like, what is going on here? And everyone in the comment section is, oh, I'm coming from TikTok. Yeah. And I was like, what is going on here? Like literally overnight, like 60,000 streams. Like
that's crazy.
Like literally, it was actually over 60,000.
Wow.
And I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like this is crazy, you know. And
who was it? Who did you find out? You still don't know.
We still to this day do not know.
That's so funny. If
Yo,
you know
I
who
went
it
on
is,
that TikTok app and I started like searching.
I downloaded TikTok because of that, literally. So, but what happened was a lot of those people who checked out, I guess, my music, then they saw that, when they went to check out more content, which you can see how people like what people click on after that, and you see the numbers like sort of like spark up.
Yeah, YouTube gives you a lot of information.
Yeah, so when you and you can see like how long they watch and how long then like once again it's really hard to brand my music because those people liked my English music, but then they check out my Spanish music and it's like it's not what I like about him, So they're like, oh, I'm out. So it was good. It was still great because I love that song, and finally that song got the exposure it needed. So I'm extremely thankful for that, and that was huge. That literally tells you how big social media is. It's incredible. Like it's awesome. So I'm very thankful for that. Yeah.
And it's also like good timing because I feel like any artist would drop one song and they would want that thing to happen to that one song, but it was good timing on you because that happened, and at least they had something else to.
Yeah,
like they can check the catalog. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like if you have one song or two songs, that wouldn't really make an impact.
Yeah, it's like finding a TV show that you like that only has one season.
Yeah, exactly.
Like The Boys. I love The Boys, but only one season. It's like,
Yeah.
But yeah. That's
shout out to TikTok.
Yeah.
It's funny how you put something out there and anyone can find it and
use it. It's the internet.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So. Yeah. All right. Well, we're getting close to the end of this podcast. I guess the last question that I want to ask you is, when people find you for the first time, when they start going through your catalog, when they listen to your music, I guess what's the one thing you want everyone that listens to, I guess, kind of take away from your music?
Okay. That's a great question. I don't know, man. I make different music, so I make music for like all moods per se. Like I have music that I go to when I'm like sad, and then I have like I have music that I go to when I'm like trying to get lit. So it really just depends. Honestly, my music is as corny as it sounds, but it's like a combination of like my emotions. And how I'm feeling like at the moment. Like literally, like everything that I write is based of like true story. And like I don't want it to be that way, because like you're gonna have to have a lot of stories to have a stable career. Like you got to be able to write a good song without being personal. But long story short, like I honestly, like I just want people to take away how organic my music is. Like I'm not willing to like sacrifice my art for anyone. Like my art is like the only thing that I have. Like it's, as I said, for example, Mac Miller, we're literally talking about Mac Miller, like, like after he passed away months, I think it was over a year. No, it's
over a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's like the one thing, and I'm very thankful, the fact that I get to make music with my homies, and like it means a lot more, So I just want people to appreciate the art for like what it is, on a lot of my, like for example, I have like the subscribers like hidden on my YouTube channel so people cannot see it, because I just want you to hear the song, like I don't want you to see, okay, this song has 80,000 views and the other one has 2,000, therefore this one might be better than the other one. No, it just means that one got more exposure than the other. Like I don't want you to see it, I just want you to listen to the audio. And that's it,
That's very important, because I gotta admit I do that sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm like, this one has more than this, so this must be better.
Sometimes I see songs with like hundreds of millions of streams, and I'm like, this must be good. Why do I not like it? I'm supposed to like it,
right?
So I don't like. I want people to like appreciate my art. Like I take my art, like my art is literally everything. Like Jeff knows when I record how many takes I do.
The playlist.
When I'm going, like I literally had a 1 hour conference call with the guy who is like gonna do my next cover art, the other day, and I sent him a long ass email with like all of this, like everything I do, even my videos, like I co-direct, most of my videos, like everything I do, like I take it, like it's like I want it. I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're a perfectionist.
In a hard way, like I cannot. And Jeff knows if there's something that bothers me in a song, since I told you guys that I'm literally listening to it for the rest of my life. Yeah. I don't want to listen to a song and every time that a single part comes that I didn't like, be like, that was not so. It's like I don't want to listen to that song for the rest of my life, thinking about that part when it comes up. I do have a few things that, as our engineering and production has gotten a little bit better, I do have a few things that obviously like I could point out from certain songs, but that's just a part of the journey, I guess.
Yeah.
But if I ultimately, to wrap up the question, I would like people to like just pretty much view my art for what it is, rather than all these numbers and like all these things. Yeah.
No, man, I respect that. Even though you said it sounds corny, but I respect that you said that, because you're not putting on like a mask. You're putting your emotions and your life. It's real. And I think if you keep doing that, more people are gonna keep listening to you, because they're gonna find someone that they can relate to. And that's because every artist that I like, it's because I can relate to them somehow. So I feel like if you keep being real like that in your music, people are just gonna keep like saying like, whoa, I can relate to.
I feel like we're all very similar. Like we think we're very different, but we all are very, like we all go through like similar like emotions, similar like experiences, and we're all in a way sort of like, that's ultimate. I learned that with marketing, everyone, like marketing has the principle of, everyone is the same, like everyone sort of, acts the same way, and yeah, like we're all curious, we're all trying to like, I guess, relate to things, and like for example, I heard a song a while back, because my homies actually interviewed this guy, so I saw it and checked out a song, and there was a line that said, Life is Good, who's asking, wrote my number down on too many napkins. And when he said that, I related. It was like I still listen to that song these days because of one line that I related to. You get what I'm saying? Like writing your number down on too many napkins, like that. It's like I've done that.
Right. Yeah,
like you see a cute waiter or like something, something along those lines, and like you do it. So, yeah, I guess that would be the answer.
All right, dope. That was a great answer. All great answers, man.
They better be. No,
yeah. Again, we're pretty much ending the podcast. I want to thank you again, man, for driving all the way here and doing
thank
this,
you
man.
guys. Like honestly, from the moment that you guys like made this, I wanted to be a part of it. Like at least once, for one episode.
Yeah.
You should come back. I mean, if you want to.
I don't do interviews. Like I'm horrible at like interviewing. Like I don't do like I don't have a single interview. And there's people out there who like mess with my music and they're like, yo, where can I they DM me and stuff like, where can I check out an interview? I have not done a single interview. So, I guess
put that in the resume.
I lost my interviewing virginity to you guys. So
it's an honor.
Yeah, that's great. But yeah, we went long. This one's a little bit over an hour. We're probably going to keep the next episodes a little bit shorter than that.
Yeah.
But again, thank
fast.
you. It went by really fast, didn't it?
Yeah.
We were like, we can't make it to 40 minutes. And look at us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that was awesome. Great episode.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, guys.
And this is the end of the podcast. You want to plug yourself for anyone to find you? Your music?
Yeah, so you can find me on social media as JP Rabelo. So JP, I don't know why I said it. So JP, J as John, P as Paul, then space RABELO. So that wave, that's my Instagram. And pretty much you can find me anywhere as JP Rabelo. I'm actually Googleable now, guys.
Nice.
Finally. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah.
Dope. Yeah, I'm on Instagram, mostly just on Instagram. Jeff L_7. For the people, if you're listening to me and you've seen my posts in the past, you've probably seen me tag him a couple of times or my stories. Yeah, that's him. We work pretty much together all the time, so yeah, check him out.
Sleep together too.
Check out the. Whoa.
Jeff, don't mess with that.
So yeah, check out the music, man. It's really dope.
And check out the podcast on YouTube. Are we gonna make a new YouTube channel for this or?
Yeah, we're gonna have a YouTube channel. By the time this is out, there should be a YouTube channel out.
Cool.
Dope.
You can check me out, Dario1617 on Instagram. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you made it all the way through, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving us an hour of your time.
Yes. That's interesting. But yes, let's close it out.
He buscado la receta para el mal amor, pero nada de lo que encontré me llena. Al contrario, solo aumenta el dolor y aunque no quiera pienso en ti con cada canción que suena. He buscado